Hello and welcome back. So this video is going to track a week, my second week of online study. So if you watched the previous video, you'll know that I have been struggling a little bit to find a routine, and I thought it would be a good idea to film a few minutes every day, just to tell you what I'm doing each day. It might help you if you're similarly struggling to get yourself into a structure for online learning and in our quarantined, self-isolated state. So I thought first of all it's Monday the 30th of March at about 10:30. My first thing that I've done is I've set an alarm that will go off every single day at the same time, so that it means that I'm getting up at the same time every day, and that will help kind of kickstart my day. I've been having a little bit of trouble sleeping recently, and getting out of bed has been a little bit of a struggle. So I think it's better if I just draw that line in the sand and get up and try and make myself start the day at the same time every day. The second thing I've done, that I talked about in the previous video, is last week I created a spreadsheet, so I could see at a glance what I need to do every day to keep on top of my studies. This won't really help you, because obviously what you're studying will be different to what I'm studying, but I thought it would give you kind of an indication of how I'm laying things out. And my laptop does a very, very fancy thing. I can detach don't worry, I haven't broken it, I can detach the monitor. So I thought, I don't know if you can actually see that because I can't see what you can see of me, but I thought I would just show you. I've basically got all the days of the week, so including weekends, and I basically blocked out and colour-coded each of my different modules, and then put in the times of my workshops and my prep time. So we have to do a significant amount of prep before, so self-study before our workshops, and then our workshops are normally group work. Obviously that all looks a little bit different now because we're online learning, but the same principle applies. You have to have prepared quite significantly for each workshop, each small group session. The next kind of 2 months-ish, we're learning all new modules. I'm with people I don't know, I've never met, and unfortunately probably will never meet. So we're doing everything remotely. If you want to see how my first week fared, then I'll link the previous video somewhere. And so I've laid out, as you can see, I've laid out each day what I need to do. The greyed out days are my days off. I like to try and have 2 days off a week, but it's not always possible depending on how efficient I am in my work days. I've got Thursday and Sunday as my days off. Just that's how it seems to. That's how I think it might work best for me. I do have other work and other meetings and appointments that I need to do. Obviously life admin as well. So those are the days that I would be doing that. I've also put in exercise every day. So that's something that's really important to me. So that's how I'm grouping my days and my week, so I can see, okay, I'm on top of that. That's what I need to be doing. The other thing I've tried to do, apart from getting my schedule sorted and my waking up time sorted, is try and have a workspace that's not in my bedroom, that's in the living part of the house, so that I have a separation. I'm lucky enough that I can do that. I do have the space for it. I share a house, we have an open plan living area, and the nature of both of our works is we need to be able to speak, need to be able to hear stuff, engage with people, so we need to really be separate, otherwise we'll be interrupting and distracting each other. So I'm actually studying we've set up a desk in our corridor, in our hallway, which luckily is big enough to fit a desk, a bookshelf, but I'm by a massive floor-to-ceiling window, and the desk is up against there, so it's a little bit chilly in here, because we have the stairs going up upstairs. So I've got a heater down below me that's going to be on, I think, pretty much permanently. I've got fluffy socks on. I've got a hot drink. So I think that's really important, is to have a distinction between your kind of your social time and your work time and your night time. If you can, I would really recommend that. So those are probably my three things today. Today I have got 4 hours of workshops. So that's two. They're pretty much back to back, so I've got about 15 minutes in between for some lunch. I've already prepped that, and then I'm going to go out for a run, probably pretty much immediately after my last session finishes, because I think the parks will be around near me will be quieter at kind of a mid-afternoon, late afternoon time. So that's obviously something we need to be really careful about, is social distancing, especially when we're running. So that's my setup for today and my to-do list for today. So I will probably see you tomorrow, where I've got a little bit of a different kind of day. All right, bye. Hello, welcome to Tuesday. So yesterday seemed to go pretty well, and this morning has been similarly okay. So I'm on track, on schedule. Yesterday's workshops were useful, and there was a lot more engagement. I think people are starting to find their feet. I also managed to get out for a run. I've discovered a quite nice 5K route that I'm trying to do, which means that I get some fresh air, get some sunshine if it's sunny, although it was a little bit rainy yesterday. Managed not to get soaking. And then caught up with some people as well, so it was quite a good holistic day. This morning, again, I woke up early, actually, half an hour early, which was good. I started the day a bit earlier than I would have done, but that routine of setting an alarm, I think, is going to pay dividends for the rest of this time in quarantine. I had a Skype call with a new mentee of mine this morning, so it was our first session. So it was odd to meet virtually and not in person. I'm more used to mentoring in person, and that feels more comfortable. So it was interesting, but hopefully useful for them. So we had about an hour this morning, so it's now mid-morning. I've got one workshop this afternoon till the early evening, which I've already prepared for. I prepared for at the weekend, but I have a 9 a.m. tomorrow morning that I need to crack on with. I have listened to the lectures, but I have an activity to do beforehand, which is it's going to be interesting to see how it works actually in the session, because it's a negotiation exercise that we would have done obviously in person. So I'm have been given the role of the artist. So this is a record contract between an artist and a record label. So I've just got to prepare it, go through the documents and figure out what are my hard and fast no-goes, red lines, all of that jargon to negotiate. So it'll be interesting to see how negotiation takes place during a workshop. So that's tomorrow morning. I've also got this afternoon, my Keep Fit activity is a virtual Pilates session with some family members. So my dad is a big fan of Pilates and has been going for years, and he's started doing sessions where he lives, and I said, could I please join in? So we've been taking to do that a few times a week. It's a really great way to stay in touch with them and also keep fit at the same time. So I got that this evening. also going to try and catch up with a friend, and also it is my brother's birthday and he lives in a different country to me, so we'll be doing all of that virtually. So there's a lot of video contact today, but also I've got to get some work done. So I will catch up with you tomorrow. Hello, welcome back. It is Wednesday the 1st of April, and it's now mid to late afternoon, so I've had a bit of a chaotic few hours today, so I'm coming to filming a little bit later. So as I said yesterday, you will have just seen I had a 9 a.m. Class this morning, where we were supposed to be doing a negotiation. I said yesterday I thought it would be quite interesting to see how that worked online. I think the short answer is it didn't really translate to the online system. Unfortunately, the system that we're using, Microsoft Teams, doesn't seem to allow you to split off into groups and do exercises and then come back. So unfortunately we missed out on doing the negotiation exercise, and we just really kind of went through it line by line as a whole, which, yeah, it was unfortunate. It's one of the really fun things that you get to do studying the LPC, is have those that kind of practical, hands-on, real life experience of negotiating, of trying to reach an agreement, of representing your client, of being an advocate, and that's what really excites me. So I think that will all have to wait till practice, till I'm actually in practice. But it was still a useful class, obviously, even if it wasn't exactly how it would have been offline. So that was this morning, and then I did some housework. So I mopped all of the floors downstairs, and did some other little errandy bits, and then I went out for a jog. So I tried to get out before lunchtime, just to minimise contact with people, and then came back, caught up with a friend. With a couple of friends actually, and then had some lunch, and then we've just had a really big delivery of fresh groceries, so fresh fruit and veg, from a local wholesaler. So I don't know about where you live, but it is a little bit of a struggle at the moment to find good supplies of food. We're trying to limit going out to supermarkets, and also we're really keen on supporting our local restaurants, local farmers markets, and local suppliers. And a lot of them have taken to doing these boxes of food that would have gone to restaurants. So we got one of those delivered today, and it is big. So I'm going to be doing a lot of soups, and we're going to be having a lot of veggie dishes, which will be really good. So that's all happened, and now I need to get on with some work. So I've got a couple of classes on Friday that I need to prep for. If I can, I will do both this afternoon, but I'm actually I'm catching up with somebody else in a few hours, so I don't think I can get everything done this afternoon. So my priority is to prep for my advanced commercial litigation SGS, rather than my family law one. I can do family law one tomorrow, or even actually on Friday in between things. So the advanced commercial litigation SGS requires me to look at a case study and do a fair amount of research on that and study on that. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then you will see me tomorrow. That's Thursday. Hello and welcome back. So it's now Thursday, the 2nd of April. So today's technically, according to my spreadsheet, it's my day off. So I haven't actually done any studying today. It's mainly been taken up with catching up with a friend who lives and works in Indonesia. So the time difference means that it's better to speak in the morning. And then I also spoke to another friend and was doing a little bit of work with them, for them, trying to help them out. And then I just had a video call with someone who wanted some advice career-wise. And then I've got a meeting in about an hour, again over video call, and then I've got another Pilates class, virtual Pilates class. So there's a lot of screen time today, a lot of FaceTime today. But I thought I would just come on and just tell you a little bit about how I'm finding the structure at the moment. And I think what the last couple of days have really shown is that the great thing about having a little bit of a structure, being able to track and see what you need to be doing and need to be doing on a daily basis to keep on top of things, is that when stuff happens, when life happens, you can flex things and shift things and move things around and still be in control and still be on top of your work and your study. So for example, the last couple of days, things have cropped up, things that I've wanted to spend some time on that aren't part of my studies, emergency situations or people wanting to speak to you or needing to speak to you for whatever reason, wanting to help people out. That's really important, to be able to flex things. If you want to take an hour out to watch an episode of something, then great, you can do that. So I think really that's the beauty of having stuff set down, is that you can shift things around, you can move things around if you want, and if you need to keep all the other plates that you're spinning in the keep spinning. So I think that's the biggest takeaway. I think at the beginning of the week I said I didn't want it to be set in stone, I didn't want it to be concrete, I didn't want to be tied to anything, and as the week has gone on, obviously things change on a daily basis at the moment. There's always something happening, so I think that it's important to be able to reflect that in your schedule. So tomorrow I have another 9 a.m, so that's my advanced commercial litigation workshop, which I did finish yesterday. I didn't manage to do my family law workshop, so I will have to do that tomorrow, because I won't have the chance to do that today. My evenings are sacrosanct. I don't like to work in the evenings if I can help it, and try and keep them sacred. So I will be doing my SGS, then prepping for my family law one tomorrow. So that is the plan for the rest of this kind of working week. Although I will still be seeing you on Saturday and Sunday. Hello, so it's now Friday, let me just check, the 3rd of April, I should know that, and it's about 6:30 in the evening. So I have just finished class for the day, I finished class for the week. So I thought I would jump on here and give you a quick recap of some things I've been noticing over the last few days in terms of the schedule. And also some little obstacles that have come up, and how the schedule is kind of responding to that and working with that. So I think yesterday I talked about the great thing about having things mapped out is you can be flexible if stuff happens, if life happens, and you need to slightly divert from the plan. So this morning, or actually yesterday, I want to go back to yesterday. So I had a meeting which was quite an intense energy sapping meeting. I came off it and I really didn't feel like doing Pilates. I didn't want to do any exercise. but I did. And I think, again, that's something that has become really important, and I think has probably become important to a lot of people, is doing a bit of exercise, moving, either getting outside if you can, having some fresh air, or moving inside, working out. It produces endorphins, those feel good hormones. And again this morning I had a 9 a.m. Which proved, I think, a little bit, it was a little bit of a difficult workshop. Again, the nature of the LPC is you do really need to get the full enjoyment and the full experience and all of that knowledge and learning. For me especially, I feel that you need to have, it really does necessitate in-person and group projects and teamwork and engagement. And I think having things delivered online, while it's fantastic that we do get that information and we do get the knowledge and there is engagement and we can try and interact with each other, obviously it is really difficult and it's not ideal. And I think the longer that we have, the more ways we're trying to figure out how best to do things, how best to work with this online system. But it can feel a little bit frustrating and slightly painful at times. And I came off that session and I did feel I needed to go out and go for a jog and get moving and try and distract and try and feel refreshed and energized again. And actually it was really useful to be able to go outside. I'm very lucky with where I live in London. I can do that safely and I can get some access to some green and some water, and that's really important for my mental health. And I've actually seen quite a lot on LinkedIn. I tend to get most of my interactions from you guys from LinkedIn, actually, rather than any other of my much more neglected social media. But LinkedIn has been very busy, very active. I've had lots of messages actually through LinkedIn, private messages, but also I've seen quite a lot of public posts with people really struggling with motivation and how to look after their mental health, and also really be committed to studying in this new way of living and working. So I thought what I would do is my next video, so not in this one, is I might just devote it to some kind of short and snappy ways that what I'm doing to stay motivated, stay healthy, stay sane, stay connected, because I think that there are ways that you can do that. For me, exercise has become one. Cooking a lot, that's something I enjoy. That's feeding yourself good things. So I think for me, the last couple of days, I've definitely noticed that actually having set aside some time for exercise is really important. Having my evenings for social time is essential for me. Every night this week, I've got things on, seeing people on screen, having virtual nights out, even though you're inside your own home. That's really, really important, and I think also helps is a foil for when things go a bit wrong or stuff happens or you're feeling a little bit cooped up or frustrated. That's really important. So I think that was the big takeaway for me from last time I saw you, was how beneficial I'm finding exercising. And someone actually said to me earlier they noticed that I'm much happier this week, and I do think that is to do with having some of that focus and that energy directed at movement and exercise. So that's my takeaway for today, for Friday. Hello, welcome back. So full disclosure, I'm not filming this on Saturday. I thought it would be more sensible, considering how the weekend went, to just film one video, just condensing the weekend, and then summing up and then finishing this video for now. So my weekend was a little bit different to how it would normally be in term time, and that's because I'm now on my Easter holidays. So I have 2 weeks of Easter holidays, so break from studying. So that means that my beautiful schedule that I showed you on Monday doesn't really apply. So normally what I would have done is I would have studied on Saturday and then tried to have a day off on Sunday, or at least half a day. I try and have 2 full days off a week. So if you remember, they were Thursday and Sunday. Normally, you have to be a little bit more flexible, so it normally turns into like 1.5-ish days off completely. And then obviously every evening I have off. But because I don't need to be preparing any university work or LPC work for the next week or so, 10 days, I decided to take the whole weekend off. It was also beautiful weather, and I had quite a few people I wanted to catch up with, obviously virtually. It's I guess one of the positives that has come out of the pandemic is that there's been so many people getting back in touch, or I've been getting back in touch with people. It is also quite sad that it takes a pandemic, a global crisis, for you to get back in touch with some of your friends, but hey, life gets busy. So I had quite a full social weekend in the end, and then also started some house projects. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about, is how to keep busy and how to keep kind of motivated and try and create a nice environment while we're stuck inside, while we're on lockdown. I've decided to do some of the things that I have wanted to do for a few years around the house, and hanging pictures, making my very, very fortunate that I have some outside space, have a balcony, so I've been making that a bit nicer, planting some seeds, going to grow some salad, growing some wildflowers. So doing the things that I've been putting off for a while, and then also just doing completely nothing. Had an afternoon on Sunday of just lying on the balcony and listening to podcasts, listening to music, rediscovering some music, and doing absolutely nothing, which felt really good. I think that's important. So as I've said previously, with things like schedules and timetabling, I prefer mine to be able to flex with how I'm feeling, but also to ensure that I am staying on top of what I need to. The other thing that I have been doing at the weekend was a friend actually had sent me, or a couple of friends had sent me some links to online courses that are now free to everybody. Universities like Yale and Harvard and Stanford and a lot of American Ivy League universities have released a lot of their course content online. It's free, and I had a good trawl through about just over 2,000 courses. Saturday morning I scrolled through and I picked a few. I say I picked a few, there are quite a lot on my list. I think I've tried to narrow it down to about 15 to 20 that I would like to study and absorb all that knowledge over the coming months. So it's not the coming weeks. I'm not going to try and cram it into my Easter holidays. I think that's a little bit unrealistic, and wouldn't be that much of a break from the norm. So I've picked a bunch of stuff and lots of different topics in my different interest areas. there's an amazing array of content. I will link things below somewhere, but I will also be talking about that a little bit more in my next video, where I talk about motivation and kind of constructive and positive things, and how to cope during this time, as I mentioned in the previous section of the video that you will have seen. So I spent some time doing that, and also I had been planning or had been earmarked over Easter to do some pro bono and volunteer work, try and get some experience and keep on top of my legal skills, and try and give back a little bit and develop in that way. Unfortunately, all of that has fallen through because see, I can't go into court, I can't go into prisons, I'm not allowed to do that. So I've also been trying to explore different ways I can do pro bono or volunteer work. So I did a lot of research over the weekend and contacted a few organisations. So hopefully there will be some stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. But also, you know, if this does extend to more than a few months, then my summer is looking quite quite different, and I'd like to be able to make use of the time that I have now. So that was the weekend, and I think really the main takeaways from this week have been that the schedule really works. It's although I haven't stuck to it exactly this weekend, that's because I haven't needed to, because I'm obviously now not in my class. I'm not in class for the next 2 weeks. But I feel like it's a really good first step, laying the groundwork, laying the foundation to build on. I'm waking up early, around 7:30, which is great, without the need of an alarm now. So a week on, and even with quite a few late nights, back-to-back late nights on the trot, I'm still waking up early, still getting up, still doing my exercise, and that's all been so positive. Still staying connected to people, also trying to stay connected to myself as well. I think that's something else that I'll talk about in the next video, is how to stay in touch with yourself. That is an essential. I think there's a lot of pressure and a lot of conversations around making the most of your time during lockdown and being super productive and getting everything done and writing 10 books and reading and developing yourself. But actually sometimes you just want to be, and you don't need to be on your A game during a global pandemic. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to feel all of the feelings that we are all naturally feeling at this really incredibly difficult time. And I think, you know, it's natural to feel like you want to stop and take stock. So I think for me, the schedule's working. I really hope this video has been helpful. I will try and summarise some key points from the last week below, again, like I did in the previous video, just so you can at a glance see kind of the tips that I've learned along the way. And I hope you're staying safe, staying sane, keeping well, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.